Welcome to the Alchemy of Ascension Season 2, where we are exploring our galactic origins and becoming multidimensional. Today, I'm so excited to have a returning guest, Pamala Oslie. And in the first Alchemy of Ascension Summit, we had an amazing conversation where we got into things like parallel realities and universes. We discussed the Mandela effect. We discussed just all types of becoming multidimensional. And so that's a perfect place for us to start in on this conversation and go even deeper. So I'm so excited to have you all join. And welcome, Pam, if you want to say hi, and then I'll read your bio.
Okay, I'll say hi.
So glad to have you here. So I'm going to just take bits of this. Pamala is so diverse and has done so much that I don't want to spend too much time reading this, but you can certainly find out more about her and what she's done on her website, auracolors.com. So here we go. Pamala Oslie is an author, consultant, radio show host, professional psychic, intuitive, and aura expert. Pamala has appeared on so many shows: ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, The Dr. Oz Show, The View, Ricky Lake, Coast to Coast, Hallmark Channel, and Gaiam, and so many more. And so maybe some of you are very familiar with her and maybe some are not, but certainly she has quite a presence. And Pam has written 4 successful books called Life Colors, Love Colors, Infinite You, and Make Your Dreams Come True. And Pamala, you've won so many awards and done so many amazing things. I'm going to kind of cut it short because I'm going to link our first conversation to your speaker page where I go a little bit deeper into what you've done in the beginning, but I really want to use our time to jump right into this conversation today and just kind of open it up and get started. So first of all, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And you're someone who I know you're so multidimensional, and you're a teacher of that and a way shower, not just a teacher, but a doer first, and then a teacher by example and in your courses. So we did talk about, a lot of your origination and how that happened in the beginning, but is there something you'd like to open up with about kind of what drew you into this world of multidimensionality, just for starters?
Well, I'm one of those people that my whole life I've been interested in who we really are and how much more expansive and amazing and incredible we are, that we haven't been raised to believe that. So I don't like boundaries. So anytime somebody tells me I can't do something, I want to push the boundaries. So I explore because I want to know, I want more freedom, I want more love, I want more joy in my life. And so exploring these greater concepts of who we are, to me, brings in more freedom, more joy, and more love.
Absolutely. And, I think that's something a lot of spiritual people get caught up in, is there's this seriousness about it. And really, we're not supposed to have to be so serious, I don't think, and I love that you bring that up because, if you spend your whole life working and certainly there's nothing wrong with that, but, or sitting in a cave meditating, you kind of miss out on some stuff like fun.
Right. See, I believe that we're really adventurous, fun-loving, creative beings that have created infinite worlds and infinite lifetimes and infinite experiences because we're playful and we're creative and we're curious and we want to have fun. I honestly believe we've created things out of joy and out of curiosity and play, not struggle. We've learned how to struggle, and it's getting so old. It's getting so boring.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's kind of been the story of our entire history: struggle and war, and the duality of living in this reality. It can be really, really intense and chaotic and difficult, which kind of brings me to the question, A lot of people want to know right now, with what has been happening with COVID and the state of our world, what is your take on energetically? Like, what's happening in our world right now?
I'm going to share my perspective based on my beliefs. I have been one of those people that have wanted to expand and evolve our consciousness for decades. And I know so many people that we've known that a shift was coming. We've known that a shift was coming. I mean, mystic teachers have been talking about that for centuries, right? A shift. So I believe we're in a shift. And I believe that what we've created, I believe this whole thing is about getting quiet. Go inside, stop being out there. I know that's what happened to me. Instead of busy and running around and doing this and doing that, it's like, be quiet and go inside, be quiet and go inside, so that we can actually connect with something greater in us, our true purpose, our true priorities and our passions. I'm amazed at how many people I'm talking to are saying, you know, now that I've had quiet time, I don't want to go back to my job. I don't like my job. I want to do my life purpose. I want to do what my soul is calling me to do. So we basically gave ourselves a time out to reconnect with our souls and who we are. We gave ourselves, I mean, it's obvious that Mother Earth has had a time out. It's like, oh, good, you guys go inside and be quiet so we can heal out here, please. So we've seen how that has shifted. So I believe it's part of the wake up call, the shift, and being quiet so we can connect with that. Because, and I don't go into fear about it. I knew something was coming for a long time. I'm not in fear of it because I've sensed that we're not through with it yet. And on the other side, it's like birthing a new baby, birthing a new species. We're in the birth canal right now, and the birth pangs are getting a little intense and a little suffocating, like we can't breathe in the birth canal. So we got to come out and shift who we are. And I've seen that the new life, the new baby, the new, I don't even know what to call it, the new era is so much better. It's filled with light and love and consciousness and multidimensional awareness. And so I'm really positive about it, even though I know during it, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for all of us. We're not used to being quiet, not like this.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really like how you compare it to being in the birth canal. And it is, I really resonate with that too. It's the rebirthing and you know, and here's a good segue into parallel parallel realities, because what I've been experiencing during the lockdown and the quieter time is, yes, the deepening more into self-awareness and the multidimensionality of going within myself. And I definitely feel some intense energies around me. They've been channeling more, and really creative. But you know, I feel like I've had multiple timeline shifts, kind of without my, not, I mean, without my awareness, or without trying to, I guess would be a good way to say it. I have woken up certain days and been like, where am I now? Have you had that experience during this?
Yes, and I mean, on a basic level, just waking up and going, wait, what day is it? Wait, am I supposed to do something? What day is it? It says Sunday. Is it a Monday? Am I working? But absolutely, I've explained it as it doesn't feel like the typical reality anymore. Like reality keeps morphing and changing, and it doesn't feel grounded. It doesn't feel, I mean, some people can say it doesn't feel normal, but I definitely feel a shift in reality a lot. Don't you feel sometimes like you can't get your hands on it, or it doesn't feel grounded, or it feels like, yes, what dimension am I in right now? What realm? What's happening? So we're definitely changing realities.
Yeah, I had an experience where I had vertigo for 20 hours. I'd never experienced that before, and it was so scary. And I honestly felt like Alice falling down the rabbit hole, but like in space. And I didn't know if it was going to end. Thankfully, it did end, and I got myself some help and got grounded again. But that was very ungrounding. And then that actually coincided with things that were happening. I wasn't previously aware of that particular day, but my astrologer shared with me some crazy stuff happening in the stars that day. And I guess I just kind of got pulled into it. But I will say, when I came out of that experience, I really felt like I was in a whole different world.
Yeah.
And I didn't plan that. That's just how it came about. So I think people are having these unusual types of experiences, and I do feel like that's part of our ascension process and are becoming multidimensional. Do you think, or do you believe that the energy is changing and the veils are thinning, and that this is more available to us now than it used to be?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's funny, a lot of people have been having vertigo and dizzy spells, myself included. They just come out of nowhere. It's like, what's happening? So it's like, I do believe that there's new energies, new shifts. We're becoming more aware. Not everyone, some people are going to go right back to, they want it to go back to the way it used to be. For those of us that are inclined or have been committed to evolving and becoming more light, or whatever you want to call it, we're definitely experiencing those different shifts, different awareness. The veils definitely getting thinner. I have talked to a lot of people that are aware of loved ones on the other side, which is new for them. And one little funny thing, the comet that we just experienced, it's called Neo-wise. Neo is new, and then wise. It's like, wow, it's pretending like, it's portending, not pretending. It's like a sign that there's a new wisdom or a new consciousness showing up. I thought that was amazing that that's what they named it.
Yeah, I love that too. And also Neo from the Matrix, like
Yeah.
maybe it's a little like alluding to, hey guys, guess what's really going on? You're in a matrix.
Yeah, yeah. I think majority of people have felt that something different is happening, that this isn't reality anymore. It's not the old reality that we had. So we're just, more and more people are becoming aware of that. So it's cool. But we asked for this. We knew something was coming. We wanted to step into a higher level. And I've heard lots of people for decades talking about that we're literally birthing a new species.
Mm. Yeah, the multidimensional human.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's talk about that a little bit, about what does it mean to be a multidimensional human? Now, I think you're someone that's been practicing as a multidimensional human for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you jump right in and explain what that means and where can we go with this?
Well, I'm going to use spiritual mystic words, but also quantum physics, because they're blending together. They're proving each other right now. So mystic, spiritual people, we've always been told that we're eternal beings, we're immortal. And so if you really look at that, we're eternal, we're immortal. That means no beginning, no end. And so I understand about we're indifferent, we're expansive. So I'm going to explain this, and then I'll talk about how that fits with quantum physics and parallel universes. So I know I've talked to people who have crossed over, and I've talked to many people on the other side. I've talked to people who have had near-death experiences. They all say that when they go over there, they're able to see all their lives simultaneously. So there's no such thing as time over there. It's past, present, future is all happening simultaneously. So I like to describe it as who we are really is more like an oversoul. There's a huge expansive beingness to who we are. We're not these limited little bodies. And our souls are not trapped inside these little bodies. Our souls are massive, and they're still in a realm, which we call the oversoul, where it's that soul is very aware, it's very expansive. And then the soul loves to create and loves to explore and loves to play and loves to learn new things. So our soul basically shoots out, it's the best way I can say it, shoots out little aspects of us into different lifetimes, different realms, different bodies, different experiences. And so that's what we call our different experiences in different lifetimes, right? So there's a you that was in the 6th century, there was a you that was in the 13th century, and maybe you were female, maybe you were male, maybe you lived in a different country. Those you are still happening, they're still occurring. So then when you leave your body, you shift your awareness. You don't really go anywhere. It's a different frequency. It's like changing the channel on a radio station. You're still there, it's just changing the frequency. And we'll talk about that with parallel universes, quantum physics. Anyway, so when you go over there, you realize, the oversoul, there's my other lives going. So you see what an infinite being you really are. There's what I feel like we came to this existence, this 3-dimensional existence, to have experiences, to feel what it was like to be three-dimensional and taste food and see colors and have emotions on a physical plane. But it's basically what the spiritual people, mystics, have been saying is we're kind of having a dream. It's our consciousness experiencing these things. But what we've turned it into is like a nightmare. We forget that we're the creators of this. So it's become a nightmare. People are suffering and they're starving and they're in pain and they're in emotional pain and physical pain. And so we've gotten so dense with our understanding of what this movie is, it's turned into a nightmare. So I feel like what our souls are doing is waking us up. I think we're tired of the nightmare, of the density, and we're waking ourselves up. And there's lots of ways to wake ourselves up. I mean, if you're even sleeping in your bed, you could use an alarm clock. So, wake up call, which is what's happening right now. We're getting a wake up call. You can just wake up because your body tells you to wake up, right? Oh, I need to go use the facilities, right? You can wake up just because it's time to wake up, and you can gently wake up and start the day. Our souls have the same ability in this lifetime. We can shock ourselves to wake up. We can be uncomfortable in our physical bodies, or we can just start waking up, which a lot of us are choosing to do. Now, relating this to quantum physics, because I'm very grounded in my understanding of what's going on. I mean, I have the ability to see outside of time. So I've got psychic abilities, clairvoyant, whatever you want to call it. I can do remote viewing. I can communicate with people on the other side. I can do move energy with my mind, like bending spoons. I can see energy fields or auras. Once you realize that your consciousness is much more expansive, we're not just these little biological machines, it's like amazing. So what quantum physics is saying, they've got evidence now in parallel universes or multiverses that we're actually multi-beings. And it sounds like science fiction when I'm going to describe this. You want me to describe this now, right?
Sure, please.
So it sounds like science fiction, but I want to point out to people a lot of things that sounded like science fiction are now science fact, like airplane flight, right? Or the world was around, or cell phones. I mean, my gosh, that's quantum physics. We have cell phones because of quantum physics. We have satellites. We have space travel. We have all kinds of things that used to be considered science fiction, and they're here now. So the next thing I'm going to describe, and I'm going to put it in lay terms, sounds like science fiction, but quantum physics has evidence that this is real. So what they're saying is every time you make a choice, if you decide you're going to go down, you're going to move to Florida as opposed to move to New York, there's a one you that stayed in New York or moved to New York, and another you that went to Florida, and you're having parallel existences. There's a you that married somebody you met in high school. There's another you that never married at all. There's another you that's living with someone and have 5 kids. Do you understand? Everything that you've ever imagined doing, as soon as you imagine something, your consciousness creates it, whether or not you align with that one or not, is up to you. It's the one you focus on that you feel is the one and only reality. So the way I like to explain this, because it helps people understand it in lay terms, is right now, and forgive me if I've repeated this to you, right now there's at least 5 radio stations broadcasting around you right now. There's radio waves in the same room with you right now, probably 10, 20 of them, right? Maybe more. But you don't know they exist because you're not tuned into the frequency. So if you went over to your radio and turned it on to 90.9, right? You're going to hear the show, the music, the talk, the broadcast that comes out of 90.9, right? And that becomes your reality. Now, if you change the station over to 107, now you're hearing the music and the talk at 107, that becomes your reality. Now, 90.9 is still around you, that at those frequencies, that sound waves, they're still around you, but you're not aware of it because you're not tuned into that frequency. That's what they talk about in the law of attraction too, changing your frequency so that you're attracting to you at that frequency. So it's the same way with parallel universes. And if people want to learn more about how those work, they can go online and put in, actually my favorite YouTube videos to watch Dr. Quantum talk about the double slit experiment. Mm-hmm. This is how they have evidence that there are parallel universes going on, without getting too scientific in this talk today. He does a great one, Dr. Quantum. It's animated and he talks, he shows how they've got evidence of that. So we think there's only one reality going on because we focus on that. That's the same as, like, I'll use the analogy of just watching your TV station, right? Well, that's the only TV show I can watch right now. It's the only one because it's right in front of me on the screen. It's the only reality. It's like, no, you can change the channel and see all kinds of other shows. But because we've been trained to believe there is only one steadfast, concrete, physical reality, we don't know that all these other beingnesses of ourselves are as close as our breath. And in order to shift it, I've seen people do spontaneous remission of cancer. Anita Morjani went from dying from cancer to not having any cancer cells in her body. I've changed my relationship status by changing my beliefs that other realities exist. And so all I do, this is how you change from one reality to another. Remember, we talked about how everybody thinks life is hard and it's struggle, or I don't have any money, or I don't have love, or, I don't like my work. And they think that's the only reality, that they're stuck in it. But we're infinite beings and we have free will. If we have free will, that means we should be able to create and experience anything. Otherwise, we don't have free will. If we think we're just stuck in one reality that has limited concepts to it. By the way, that's Newtonian physics. That's Newton, way back when, that life is a machine and we don't have any say over it. And the only way you can affect anything by pushing it or doing something physical with it, right? Mm-hmm. That's old physics. Quantum physics is saying we do everything with thought, and it's energy. It's all energy. So once people realize that they can change the channel on their own life, it's amazing how well you can shift what's going on in your life. But here's the key. We get very attached to our movies. We get attached. We think it's the only one. We get attached to the emotions of it, the drama of it, the story of it. And so people think that's their only reality. So in order to shift your reality, like in one reality, I was very single and in love with this guy who didn't want to have anything to do with me. And I noticed in that reality, I had the belief that I wasn't lovable, had the belief that he wasn't attracted to me. I had the belief that it wasn't going to work out, that kind of stuff, right? In that reality. So when I realized that was my belief and it was affecting my thoughts and my emotions, I intentionally started chipping away at my belief and started believing something completely different, that I was lovable. And even though I was blonde and he liked dark-haired girls, that we really were together, I was lovable, and we were, he wanted to be with me, whatever. And without telling the whole story, I shifted my beliefs, I shifted my thoughts, my story, my emotions went with it, and it completely changed the outcome. And now that guy who didn't want anything to do with me and moved to the East Coast to get away, okay, we've been hanging out now for 37 years. So we've been together for 37 years because I shifted my beliefs, my reality, and I'm just giving a quick version of this, but all you have to do is change the channel. And the way you change your channel is you can't be addicted to the old story. You have to stop telling the old story. That's where affirmations come in. I'm affirming that I'm wealthy as opposed to I can't pay my bills. I'm affirming, but you got to believe it. You have to know, here's the difference. You have to know that that reality exists just as much as the old reality does, where you're suffering or impoverished. You have to know that that realm, that image, that reality actually exists. As soon as you imagined it, it came into beingness. You just haven't aligned with it. So you have to be willing to drop the old one. That's all I did, is I dropped it. I stopped believing in it. I stopped giving it energy. I stopped believing it was the only reality out there. And I aligned with the one that I really wanted. And I believed it. I felt it. I knew it was real. I just aligned with that frequency, just like changing the radio station. And it came true. And not only in reality one, where all my girlfriends complaining they were single and couldn't find any good men. When I shifted over into this new realm, this new radio station, all my girlfriends were in relationship too. They were all engaged. They were happy. They were getting married. It was amazing how quickly that happened. But do you understand? We have to shift our belief that we're these limited little biological machines over to that we're infinite creators and that we create our own experiences with our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it really does. You know, as you were talking about changing the radio dial, I was thinking about my son who's 11 years old and almost 12, and he's a gamer. And, you know, these new kids, they have, we're told as parents, just one screen at a time is what you're supposed to have your child on, right? But he wants to be on his phone and his iPad and his TV with, whatever game he's playing and shift around. Now, it's not that he can give all of his focus to all of those things. He goes back and forth, I guess, like multitasking. And certainly he's not the only kid his age doing this. I know it's what they do. And
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and it's like, it is kind of like having, you're using the radio dial or the TV screen. It's like having multiple screens in
Yep.
front of you, or even like having your internet up and you have 50 tabs, and which one do you choose at any given time? Then when you go to that one, you put all of your focus into it. And I know when he plays games, like when he really gets into it, he's so absorbed into it that I could be standing next to his ear saying his name and he won't hear me, because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
in that experience so deeply. And it makes me wonder, rather than feeling guilty as a parent for letting him have the screen time that he has, maybe it's training for exactly what you're talking about.
It's exactly what it's doing. That's why we've got virtual reality out there now. I go, this is virtual reality, but our technology, believe it or not, I believe our technology is leading us towards what it is, who we really are. And some people don't know that that's who we really are. So they're using technology to show how we do it. I mean, imagine walking into, same concept, walking into a store and there's like 50 different TV stations, shows going on different TV sets. And if you look at all of them, it's like, oh my gosh, but if you go up and focus on one, you can get caught, you can get lost in the program that's on you, immerse yourself in it. That's exactly what they're doing. It's what we've done. We immerse ourselves in one reality and we think it's the only one. So I really believe that's exactly what these kids are doing. They're starting to shift into being multidimensional, or
Yeah.
realizing that we're multidimensional. We've always been that. We just don't know that. Well, and the reason we didn't know that, it's the same thing. If you go to a movie and there's like 20 different movies going on in the same theater room, you're gonna be all confused, right? You won't have the full experience. But you go into a theater to watch the movie and really get lost in it, feel it, and get caught up in the story and get caught up in the experience of it. If somebody was sitting next to you the whole time going, hey, it's just a movie. Hey, snap out of it. They're not even actors on the screen. They're little particles of light flashing off and on. They're not even real people on that screen. They're finding out with quantum physics, it's the same thing. There's nothing solid to us. There's no such thing as solid matter. We're basically little lights blinking off and on. But we've got ourselves believing that we're physical bodies.
Mm.
So yeah, we're definitely infinite, immortal beings. And we're starting to realize, hopefully, that we have more creative say, more creative power, then it can be more fun. It's more fun.
Yeah. So, moving more deeply into that conversation, I'm thinking about like when I uh, have an experience that that I created mentally first. And then I have the experience of it happening. And I know you've had many of these, and hopefully some of our viewers have, but if they haven't, I want to kind of move into a conversation of clarification on some details that can be really helpful. Because what I found is it's really great if you visualize what you want, and that's kind of like the mind and the internal visualization, but that's not the only thing. And there are multiple pieces to it, and I've actually been working on something for about a week now, and I've been creating it in my mind. And so every night before bed and every morning when I wake up, I visualize the scene, I visualize some details about the scene, and I visualize some things that I might hear, and then I try to each day add more detail in, like what might this feel like? And, oh, am I riding in a car right now? Or what does it look like? And then, I know that ultimately I have to drop into the experience. And it took me about a week to formulate the details of the experience. And just yesterday, I started dropping into it where I could see the scene from my own eyes and start to feel what's around me. And rather than viewing it as if I'm out here looking at a TV screen or a computer monitor, I'm actually the one looking through the eyes having the experience. And for me, that's a key factor in the creating of it. Can you speak into that? Like, how do we do that better?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's what they've all been teaching, is like, you have to align with the energy and the emotions of it too. Emotions are energy in motion. So that's a key factor, is to really feel like it's real. Exactly. It can't be, most people, when they do their visualization, they still put it someplace in the future. It's out there. It's coming someday, but it's not here yet. And then the voice is, it's not here yet. It's not here yet. It's not here yet. It's over there. It's out there. It's in the future. So you said it exactly right. Immersing yourself in it, having the emotional feeling, the physical feeling, the visualization, and to actually experiencing it. And another thing we get tripped up on is people think it takes time, to manifest something. Well, I've learned a long time ago that time, since it doesn't exist, that's not a real thing. It takes as long as you feel safe having it. It takes as long as you believe in having it. What I learned is that the masters just declare something once, knowing that it's a done deal, and they let it go and it happens. For those of us that are still struggling to believe, we're working against like a riptide. We're focusing on it and visualizing it, I'm experiencing it, but there's an inner belief or a subconscious belief down there that goes, it's not real, I can't have it, I shouldn't have it, it's not possible, it doesn't work this way, or it's going to take too long, or I'm not lovable, or I'm not smart enough to have money. There's an underlying belief, like a riptide, that pulls it back. So you got the total key is immersing yourself. When I shifted into being with this guy that I wanted to be with, I felt it so strong. I saw the details. I felt the grass under my feet. I could feel the warm air, the sunshine on my body. I looked, and now remember, I'm giving you some details now. He was on the East Coast. I was on the West Coast. When I did this meditation and I immersed myself with it, I actually saw him giving notice to the band that he had gone there to work with. He's in a rock and roll band. Then I saw him breaking up with whatever girl he'd been seeing at the time. Then I was witnessing this, but I was in there. I was in the experience. I saw it. I felt it. Then I saw him going to Iowa to see his meditating friends. Then I saw him going to Los Angeles to see his rock and roll friends, and coming back to Santa Barbara to be with me, which is what happened. So I saw the whole thing. I experienced it. It was real. Here's the key. I knew that reality was just as real as any of the others, okay, any of the past ones. And again, these are quantum physics, you guys. It sounds like science fiction, but it's real physics. We've done it. We've seen it in the movies. We've got Somewhere in Time, Back to the Future, Sliding Doors, Frequency. And my latest favorite one is Yesterday. I don't know if you saw that movie yet, but Yesterday. Oh, it's a great movie. I love that one. It's the guy that he wakes up and he's the only one that remembers the Beatles.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's parallel universes. He woke up in another universe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got it in our movies, we've got it in our technology, our TV, our radio, our websites, our phones. We're showing how we can shift realities, except for we don't fully know we can do it with ourselves, but we can.
Yeah, we can. So, so when you had that experience and it became real, did you practice it? Was it at one time you had the experience and it was so real and it was just so, or did you rehearse it multiple times?
No, I didn't rehearse it. That's the weirdest thing. I had just learned about parallel universes. I had just learned it, and I went, if I learned, let me say it this way. Every time they've discovered something in physics, it's given something new. It's actually given us more freedom. So for example, we went from a flat earth concept, for most of us anyway, flat to round. I know there's still some people that believe it's flat, and that's okay. They get to have that experience. We had more freedom. Then we went from walking across the country to flying across the country. Aerodynamics, we discovered the principle of aerodynamics. We have more freedom now. We can fly around the world way faster, right? So when I discovered that they had proven that parallel universes were real, I went, well, if that's the case, we should be able to use that. So that I did a meditation. I wanted that reality so deeply and believed it was real. When I studied quantum physics, it said parallel universes are a real thing. I went, then I didn't have to overcome something. I go, okay, they've got evidence of it as proof. We should be able to use it. And I did, and it worked. You know, there are people that don't want to be on planes either because they're not, you know, it's like, nah, not comfortable. I don't want to be on a plane, but I have no problems getting on a plane. So, no, I didn't practice. Now, do I do it every time? No, I get stuck in that old reality that it's only one and, you know, we're trapped and we're limited. It's a very convincing movie we're in. It's very convincing. It looks very real and very solid and very emotional. And we want those experiences too. We want to know that it's physical. And I mean, it's real. So knowing that we can change all the time, I think there's a part of us that goes, oh, but if I can do that all the time, now what? So I think sometimes we like to immerse ourselves in the movie, but I don't want to get stuck in the movie. So am I always able to practice it? No, because I go back to old consciousness. But I'm getting better and better and better at staying in that new level of consciousness, like, oh, it's all energy and I'm creating this dream. You know, I tell people, when you're dreaming, you know, unless you're having a lucid dream, when you're dreaming, you don't know you're dreaming until you wake up. And it's like, oh, that was a dream. When I've talked to people on the other side, those have crossed over, they said that where they are is way more real than what we're experiencing. They said, when we're over there, it feels like I was in a dream over here. And aha, another one of those, we're kind of dream. It's consciousness. We're doing this with consciousness. So it's just kind of breaking the spell of believing that we're limited beings. It's just breaking that spell and going, oh, if it's energy and there's parallel universes and our consciousness, and that's what physicists were saying, the quantum physicists, Schrödinger, Heisenberg, Planck, all those guys said it's all consciousness. Einstein even said reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, when you said that about it feels more real in that other dimension of experience, I can definitely relate to that. There have been a handful of experiences that I've had, maybe more than a handful, but I remember each one really well because when I've had a multidimensional experience that was very profound, there's more energy, there's more information, there's more experience, so it feels more real than this reality. And you know, people have asked me that. I had one of those experiences, which is where I got my name Washela, by two Mayan grandmothers who came to me in it was a meditation ceremony and on a Lakota medicine woman's land many years ago, over 25 years ago now. And it was like people would ask, was that real? I'm like, it was more real than this. Because there was more information. It was, what my understanding is a higher dimensional experience, and in a higher dimension than this one, there is more information, and the more information there is, the more you feel, and the more you feel, the more real it becomes. So have you had experiences where it seems more real than this one?
Oh yeah, and it's a different frequency. It's yeah, I have. It definitely feels more real, and it feels more expansive, and it feels lighter, and it feels freer. And so I always love those. I've used the analogy. I think you and I have talked about this before. Deepak Chopra talks about these 5 different levels of consciousness, of manifestation, and every time you change your awareness of what's real and what's possible, the way that things show up for you in this plane are different. So I want to bring it into this level, but so I'm going to use the analogy. I'm jumping around here. Let's say you have a desire for ice cream, and level 1 thinking, which is where most of us feel like we're trapped, and this is three-dimensional reality and there's rules of physics and you can't break the laws of physics. In that level, if you want ice cream, you have to go out, apply for a job, get the job, work for a while, finally get the paycheck, go cash your paycheck in, get in your car, drive to the ice cream store, and then get some ice cream, right? Then you finally get to eat the ice cream. That's a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of processing, right? But we believe that's the way this world works. Level 2, and we've all had this experience of awareness. Once you shift your awareness that maybe we're not just physically limited beings, level 2 is you have the desire for ice cream, and a friend stops by and goes, oh, I was just in your neighborhood and I was like driving by and went, oh, I had this sudden urge. I just bought ice cream and do you want to share it with me? So there it is. We've all had that experience. Synchronicity, right? Level 3 awareness is you have the desire for ice cream. You go to your freezer, you open it up, and there's ice cream in there. And you go, I don't remember buying ice cream, but there it is. Or I don't remember putting money in my wallet, but there it is. Or I don't remember, wow, there it is. It just kind of manifested. That's level 3. Level 4 is, and this is very high level consciousness as far as I'm concerned. This is Christ consciousness level, right? Having the desire for ice cream, and you open your hand and it's there. Right? So Christ, I understand Sai Baba used to manifest gold or ashes. I didn't see him personally, so I don't know that, but that's high level. Level 5 awareness, we don't want to do because we come from that. And that's, you have the desire for ice cream and then you realize you and the ice cream are all just one energy. And so we don't want that because we want to taste the ice cream. We want to have the experience. So sometimes we want to go to level 1 because we like the activity involved in it. But I'll tell you, levels 2, 3, I haven't reached 4 yet. I've done quite a bit of levels 2 and 3. Oh, there's so much fun. There's so much fun. There's so much less struggle and hard work for it. We just need to change our beliefs about ourselves and the nature of reality. We need to create an awareness or open up our awareness that there's more to us, more to life, more to reality than we've been trained, and life starts shifting.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Thank you for describing those levels of conscious awareness so brilliantly. I think that's helpful. And I'm sure everybody can relate to some of those levels, at least, if not multiple of them. And it's really, like you said, just a shift in consciousness and releasing of what we think isn't possible, really, into what we think, what we know now is possible, and then just kind of an allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
And I
I've
guess
had people also ask me if they shift into a different universe, if all the same people are in that new universe. Go, of course they are. They're all still going to be there. They just might be slightly different. However, if you change your beliefs enough that this one's struggling, mean people and bad, and you're having drama with people, and you shift your beliefs enough, all those people will somehow not be in your life anymore. They'll go away or they'll be different. They won't cause drama because you've shifted you. That's why they say it's not about changing people on the outside. It's about changing your own thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, and everything out there changes because you're creating it anyway, but it'll reflect back to you. So yes, you'll probably have most, if not all, of the same people. They'll just be different depending on how you changed. If you changed enough, some of those people won't be there anymore. They'll go away.
yes, indeed, the outside reflects the inside. And I mean, that's such a key understanding, I think, for everybody. And there's always kind of another layer to open up to in that, but that what we're rehearsing and being and thinking and doing and who we are within is what we experience as if it's coming from outside of us. And when we make that shift internally, the outside shifts to match it.
Totally does. That's exactly how it works. And again, that's quantum physics. It's not just woo-woo spirituality or wishful thinking. It's really different. And the cool thing is when you shift realities, you don't have to work hard to overcome something. You don't have to go into your childhood or go into, and not that there's anything wrong with that. If people want to do that, that's great. But you don't have to overcome anything. You just drop it. You stop putting your energy into it. You stop believing in it. And that's not denial. It's just shifting and putting your attention and your energy into something different and believing in that more, and watch how that takes quote unquote physical form or becomes your experience.
Absolutely. And I do know sometimes just in doing that trauma release work or releasing some of those things, it can propel you
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
next level
Yeah.
too.
Because you released, you let go of it. You let
Yeah.
go of that, so you're not feeding it energy anymore. So I want to encourage people, and you get any experience you want. You came here for the experience, go for it. If you're in a dramatic, if you're holding on to anger or guilt or resentment or hurt or drama or sadness and you can't seem to let it go, just get the juice out of it. There's no judgment. You came here to have experiences. Get that experience till you're done with it. And then just, I would recommend at some point when you're done with it, stop telling the story of it, because that shows an attachment to it. Just don't keep repeating the story. You know, unless you're getting something out of it, then get it out of it till you're bored and then move on to a different story.
Yeah. Yeah. Our words do create
Yeah.
our reality. So stop telling those stories that you don't want to replay in your life, because, and I think that is people that are addicted to drama and gossip and things, and like she did this, he did that, that's that victimization. You don't
Mhm.
realize, you would never tell those stories if you realized that by telling it, you're perpetuating the same thing to happen again and again and again until
Yeah.
you tell a new story.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we're going to shift out of the consciousness of victim into the consciousness of creator. And if people want the full movie of feeling like a victim, it's okay. We've all done it. We all still do it, even if it's lesser, you know, than some people that are very victimized. But my intention is to shift the story away from victim into creator, into creating our lives. It's so much more fun. And some people are afraid of it because they don't believe in themselves yet. They're afraid they'll mess up if they create, or it's not good to say you're a creator, you're blaspheming or something. They go, well, we were supposedly created in the creative source's image, so that makes us creators, right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting religious. I'm just saying it's really okay to realize who we really are. It's just, it increases love, compassion, freedom, and honestly, it increases joy.
Mm.
Then you can consciously go into, I mean, sometimes we want to watch sad movies because we like the experience of crying, right? Sometimes some people like to go to horror movies, like not my thing, but some people like the adrenaline rush of that, or dramas or war movies or murder mysteries. Whatever movie you're into, go to the movies and get something out of that. And then your regular life, you know,
Yeah, don't
anyway,
feed
so
it.
no judgment about what people are creating. They get to create anything they want. We're all here for different experiences. And by the way, we've all experienced being in different universes at time. Haven't you ever talked to somebody and they remember something completely different than you remember?
Yeah.
It's not that somebody has a bad memory. It's just you probably came from different universes to coincide with each other. And they've got this history and you've got this history. Or deja vu. We've all had the experience of deja vu, right? Deja vu, that's another you intersecting with another you. And you cross paths at that point and go, well, wait, I've done this before.
For sure. Yeah. That's our multidimensionality. I know last time we touched into the Mandela effect, and that also is where, some people have these memories of something that happened that actually happened differently in this reality. It's really a rabbit hole to go down. If you're curious, you can go
It is.
Google it.
It
Um,
is.
I
It's
just saw
fun.
I just saw a really funny one. It's on the Sistine Chapel. And I studied art in college. I studied Italian Renaissance art history, in fact. And I never once on the Sistine Chapel ceiling saw a picture of God's bare butt. But I saw that on a Mandela effect report the other day about art that's changed. I'm like, what? No, that was not there when I studied that. So I think I would have noticed that.
Definitely, they're different realities. That's why there's no sense arguing with anybody or trying to convince them to do anything. I don't try to convince anyone to be over here. I just drop that one and I come over here and they're different.
Yeah.
Or I don't need to convince anyone else to have a different movie. We're all having different movies. It's okay.
Great point. Great point. We all get to have our own movie in our own way. And if someone has a differing movie, different opinion, just be curious and let them have it, right?
It's the infinite creative presence creating in infinite different ways for the experience.
Beautiful. I think that's a great note to end on. And I want to talk about, you have a free gift. So let me see. Oh dear, I have too many notes.
I have a guided meditation on
Yes.
abundance to
Thank you.
help. That's a free gift so that people can, I do a guided imagery so that people can imagine themselves in a world where they have abundance on every level. So that's that meditation. That's the free gift.
Wonderful. An abundance meditation. And I mean, we're all looking for more of the good stuff. So why not? So be sure, and that will be linked to your speaker page. So be sure and grab that, that free gift. It'll also be on the email. And you also have an amazing offer that you're giving for $97. And this is your Quantum Leap e-course workshop. Tell us about that, please.
It's a lot about what we talked about. I'm teaching people who we really are, and we go through meditations and experiences and exercises with everything, helping people become psychic, helping them do remote viewing, helping them see other lives so that they can go in and out of, including future lives, because they all exist. Teaching them how to see auras. We bend spoons in the workshop too. So teaching people basically how to develop these advanced abilities so they can see they're more than who they are. It's a video. I mean, it was filmed at a live workshop that I did. So it's all visual.
Thank you so much for that. And I know the value of that is much more than the 97 that you're offering it for. So I really appreciate that. The link will also be in the email and the speakers page. And I'd love to invite everyone to the Facebook page to comment on what did you get as your biggest takeaway from this conversation with Pam Oslie today. And we'll be happy to interact with you there. So thank you so much, Pamala. This was just a beautiful conversation. As always, I just love my time with you. I feel so fortunate that you have gifted us this time and the wonderful offers that you've made. So thank you.
Thank you, Washila, for what you're doing too. I really appreciate that you're getting higher consciousness concepts out into the world. It's needed. It's awesome. And I love that you're doing it.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for including me.
Oh, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all of you viewers. Thank you for being here, for listening, for practicing these things, and for expanding and adding to the positive energy of our planet. And with that, I'll sign off. Namaste.